Marketing versus sales. So you got to understand, if you understand who your perfect customer is, then you start the business of marketing to them and selling to them. And these are two different things. And one of the best definitions of the distinction between these two things is, if you do this really well, you almost don't even have to do any of this, right? And people get really caught up in this whole idea of sales and selling and sleazy salesmen and all this other stuff. It's because they're not doing enough of this. Or they don't understand this, right? And a number of other things that are missing. But if you're doing this really well, when you sell, think of it this way, when you sell, you're talking to people that are already predisposed to want to buy whatever it is that you're selling. And really your option here, your only obligation here is to distinguish yourself from everyone else and to bring trust and integrity to the conversation. People aren't going to buy anything from you if they don't trust you. But they already want, like you walk into a car lot, chances are you already want to buy a car. So all I have to do is be honest with you and distinguish why you should purchase that car from me versus the 15,000 other car lots that are right around the corner. This is really targeting people that are probably going to want what you have sometime later in the near future, distant future, or mid-future. And this is about like advertising and branding and building an image and reputation management and all of those things. So this is kind of like, there's an immediacy to this, and this is kind of a longer term play. But these are not the same things, and people confuse them all the time. Pricing, I put this up here because when I talk to my kids about their companies, their respective small businesses, which I helped them start, which is kind of one of the reasons I'm standing in front of this whiteboard, because I figured a lot of other people could use it. They don't like talking about money, they didn't know how to talk about money, and they were reticent to raise prices, to charge more. If you charge a lot of money, your whole job gets easier. The only obligation that you have to charge a lot more than everyone else is charging is to be better than everyone else. And you know, Walmart sells stuff at the lowest price, but they have the leverage of massive amounts of real estate and massive amounts of warehouse and manufacturing and distribution capabilities. They can afford to do that. Amazon can afford to do that because of their infrastructure and their volume. If you want to compete based on price, you know, I'd stick a knitting needle in your eye instead. It's just I think it's a foolish thing to try and do. It creates so many obstacles, and the people that want the lowest price are the biggest pains in the ass. Those are the people that will complain the most and give you the most problems. So figure out a way to create massive, tremendous value and charge more than everyone else. And your customer base will come in like this, but they're much more fun to play with. They're more intelligent, they're more responsive, they're more respectful. They're all of the things that you'd want in a good friend. And they will advocate for you. The only other obligation that you have to charge a lot of money is beyond bringing the value, is you have to do what you say you're going to do. So all of these, the idea behind pricing things high is to eliminate a lot of problems. And I just have a natural inclination, I guess from experience, that you know the people that are going to beat the crap out of you with regard to price are the people that are going to beat the crap out of you forever. So think about that. And I love talking about this. So again, if you want to talk more about it, you know, I'll put the information that you need to reach me. The bootstrapping versus financing. If you don't know what bootstrapping is, that's just using your own money. I guess you could throw family and friends in there, but you're not going to a bank, you're not going to an angel investor, you're not going to look for outside financing of any kind. You're using your own money. And this is why service businesses, like I'm a recruiter, I don't really need any money to get started. I need a phone and some knowledge, right? And then it's relationship building. And then eventually you can add on brick and mortar stuff if you wanted, hire employees, but you use the money that you generate, the profits that you generate with effort and energy and serving other people. I would highly recommend figuring out how to do this. When you do financing, then you come back over here, you got to bring a business plan, a financial plan, a SWOT analysis, cash flow, all of these other things are in a good business plan. And you have to do the business plan yourself, because if you go to a bank or an investor of any kind, if you want to use somebody else's money and you're either promising them a return on their investment or you're giving them some ownership in your company, you have to have that story down. This has to be like, this has to come out of you like it's got to be in your DNA. So you can't do this without this stuff. This kind of is directly related to this. The allocation of duties is, if you're bootstrapping stuff, then you're probably going to have to do everything on your own. Eventually, there's a lot of these things that I'm doing now that I want to allocate to other people. So I just started this online thing. I'm taking all of my experience and knowledge and trying to figure out the framework I want to put it online. And it's a work in progress, and it's fun. But so if you're going to do bootstrapping, then you're going to have to do things you don't want to do, and you're going to have to do things that you don't do well, and you're going to have to learn how to do them well. And there's a lot of good that comes from doing some of these things, because once you choose to outsource them or hire someone else to do them, because you have an understanding of what this entails, you can write a good job description or project plan or instructions or documentation, and then you can oversee people that are doing these things in a much more efficient and effective way, because you have the empathy of having done them yourself. So you want to grow out of this quickly and allocate some of these duties to other people, but you're going to have to suck it up at the beginning unless you want to use somebody else's money and or give them equity in your company. The exit strategy is basically, why are you doing this? What's the end goal? Do you want a business that you can hand off to your kids? Do you want a business that you can basically just use for income and cash flow until you don't want to work anymore and then just let it fizzle out? Probably not a very intelligent option. Or do you want to sell it? And the first time I sold a business, that due diligence process is what they call that, getting prepared to make the case to the buyer as to why they should buy your company and how much they should pay, was a nightmare. I mean, it was fun in the sense that I was doing new things and discovering new things. There is a train of thought, and I'll kind of leave you with this, is if you understand this before you do any of this, it will have a dramatically effective impact on how you encounter this. And here's the other thing about selling your company. The beginning with the end in mind concept, I think, is fabulous. It's a military concept, I think. But if you start knowing exactly what you want to do and when you want to do it, there's a clarity that comes to all of this that's kind of magical as well. And the sale of the company, to do this effectively, the person who's going to buy the company or the people that are going to buy the company are going to want to know all of this. And the extent to which you can articulate all of this when you're across the desk from the people that are going to buy your company escalates the value of your company, facilitates the ease with which they can purchase the company. All of these things, if done well, facilitate the ease with which things can get done. So that's a lot of stuff, but hopefully that's helpful. And if you are contemplating starting a business, again, 7pillarsglobal.com/personal-coaching, free 30-minute conversation. And I should be able to tell you in 30 minutes if I can help you. I know I'll be able to tell you if I can help you. And then I'll tell you a little bit about how I can help you. And then if you want to jump in and pay me a little money to go deeper and broader into that stuff, I would love to help. I love helping people. I love teaching. And I like to joke with people that a lot of the reason I know some of this stuff is because I messed it up more than once. So it's that Sherpa thing, right? You get to a fork in the road, and if you're with somebody who's been there before, they can tell you to take a left versus a right. Save you a ton of money, a ton of pain, a ton of frustration. I encourage you, if this resonates with you, I encourage you to give it a shot. It's running your own business is fun. Sure, there's headaches, but I mean, bosses are headaches. Colleagues are headaches. Businesses are headaches. So hopefully this was helpful. And like I said, if you want to reach out to me, you know how to do that. And I'll just wish you well. Have a great day. Thanks.